Boston kind of started off hot, and then, the Warriors took over.
Yeah, 14-2, and then that was basically the end of their good offense for the day.
Exactly. Yep. Unfortunate. But Steph wins his 4th title, and along with that, he goes 34-7 in the closeout game, and finally wins Finals MVP.
Yep.
Is this Curry's greatest achievement in his career?
No question about it.
Okay.
There is no doubt about this is Steph Curry's crowning achievement. And it's not just because it was his best finals. It was without a doubt, though. It's not just because it was his first finals MVP. And by the way, here's the thing. I know a lot of people like to say, well, he should have had one before. I don't believe that. I believe in 2015, he was more deserving than Iguodala. But in 2015, the man who deserved finals MVP was LeBron. This was without a doubt the first, he's played in 6 finals. This was his first finals where no one would argue someone on his team or the other team was better than him. This was the first finals where it was clear and obvious he was the biggest problem for the opposition on the court, and they had no answer for him. He had a bad game 5, but I don't really even think that's because Boston guarded him that well. I think it's because he missed shots. A lot of that 0 for 9 from 3, a lot of those were open threes. And for Steph Curry to be the architect of the best dynasty since Michael and Scotty's Bulls, it is an unimpeachable basketball resume he now has. He now has a finals where he was brilliant start to finish. He has the crowning achievement of the game 4 of those finals, down to 1, a 43-point masterpiece, a great closeout game. He fought his ass off on defense. The Warriors won this series because of their defense. And he's obviously not a great defender, but you weren't watching the 2015-2016 finals as closely as I was. You watched 2016 with me in my apartment in LA.
Right.
It was on Father's Day, 2016. But those finals, the plan was attack Steph Curry, put him in pick and rolls. He has made himself into an adequate enough defender where now you no longer can do that.
Right.
Like, you can try to, and you can try to wear him out, but he is not a turnstile. And also, he is to be the guy for this run to help keep the team. I think the Warriors management deserves credit. The ownership for spending all that money. Their luxury tax bill is off the charts. The management deserves credit for not pivoting. They semi-pivoted by not trading away, or by keeping the draft picks and going with these young guys, Kuminga and Moody, who did nothing in the finals. They wanted to have a plan long term, but they continued to spend, to invest in veterans, bring back Iguodala, to not flip Andrew Wiggins, all these things that cost them enormous amounts of money because they had faith that with Steph Curry, they're viable championship contenders, despite 2 years ago having one of the worst records in basketball when Steph was hurt, and last year missing the playoffs when Steph was healthy. This is without a doubt the finest achievement of his career, and it does put him into a different stratosphere. That next stratosphere, I think the question everyone's asking this morning is, what stratosphere is that?
Right. I mean, so he's got 4 titles, 2 MVPs, and 1 Finals MVP, and he's one of 5 guys to ever do that.
Yep.
So where would you put him now on your top 50 list?
Okay, so I'm not going to spoil the top 50 list entirely.
Okay.
What I am going to tell you is this. The top 50 list is just the last 50 years. But what everyone else is doing today is he one of the 10 greatest players ever?
Right.
The problem with a 10-person list, as we've talked about many times, is there's only room for 10 people on it. And in my opinion, there are a few guys who it is inarguable, right? So LeBron, Kareem, and Michael, it is inarguable that Steph is not there yet. I believe it is inarguable he is not there with Wilt and Russell. So now we're at 5. I do not think he is yet to Magic, certainly not to Magic, or Bird. One could say Bird's a little arguable. I don't think he has yet surpassed Duncan or Kobe. And then you also still have Shaq and Hakeem. That's 11 people. So is he in my all-time top 10? He is not. Is he banging on the door? He is. Do I think, and nobody's having this discussion today, but when it's all said and done, if we're trying to take someone from the top 10, if you don't order it, you just have 10 guys and you're trying to replace one of them with Steph. The guy whose resume Steph's is going to, I believe, match up quite favorably to, because they're going to have the same blemishes, which is missed the playoffs during their prime, won some of his titles with a guy who might be the best player in the league, had some really rough finals moments, but went to a bunch of finals, won a bunch of rings. That guy is Kobe Bryant. And nobody's kicking Kobe out for Steph right now, but listen, Steph has 2 titles with Durant. Well, Kobe has 3 with Shaq. Kobe didn't win Finals MVP that year. Steph didn't win Finals MVP that year. Steph missed the playoffs 2 straight years. Kobe, the first 3 years Shaq was gone, missed the playoffs once and 2 straight first-round exits. Kobe then had the renaissance with Powell. Kobe also was bad in the 2004 finals, was mediocre in the 2000 finals. Like, these are real things. And so I do think that we've got to acknowledge that if you want to have the Steph belongs in the top 10 discussion, it's going to get quite uncomfortable on the people you might have to push out. Yep. And so I don't think he's top 10 all time yet. However, it would be foolish to say he can't get there, because if he wins another ring, it has to matter. Going into this season, I had him behind Durant, Moses, and Dr. J. He passed Durant. I don't want to spoil too much of Sunday, but you know what? I'll go ahead and spoil some of it. He passed Moses, and he and Dr. J, if he was neck and neck with Dr. J going into the finals, then doesn't he almost by definition have to pass Dr. J by virtue of winning the finals? Probably. Now, is that enough for me to put him ahead of Shaq or Akeem, much less Bird or Kobe or Duncan? Not yet, but he's got time left. Hey, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button to get more from the show, and make sure to click the bell to get notified every time new content drops. Check out full episodes of What's Right wherever you get your podcasts, or just click the link in the description below.